It's time for really quick equity and excellence in teaching tips. I am your host, Michelle Singh, an educator, professor, author, student, and mother. I'm happy to share this topic from the EQUAL methodology, which is a framework for diversity, equity, and inclusion in education. So let's get right into our conversation.
Elizabeth Berkley said that student engagement is the product of motivation and active learning. It's the secret sauce to an empowering learning experience. So I remember teaching my ninth grade students the epic poem, The Odyssey by Homer. And I must admit, teaching the text was challenging, but it was a requirement to teach it. And personally, I believe the students should be exposed to it. So I just had to make it responsive to their lives and help them connect their own stories to it so that they could understand it and even retain the information, right? And so what I did was I diversified the activities and the assessments around the Odyssey. So as we delved into the loyalty and the love shared between Odysseus and his faithful dog, Argos, my students related so much to that. And to add a touch of cinematic magic, I showed the students the film Hachi, A Dog's Tale. Now, I am a proud mom to 4 fur babies, and one of them just happened to be named Odysseus. So for me, it was really a treat to witness how the connections between my students, their stories, and the text were being made. It really was truly a treat to watch them forge those connections between their lives, the themes, and the text. And there was one student who was so inspired by the bond between Odysseus and Argos that he really did pour his heart into this piece of artwork that depicted the final scene, their final scene together. And I'm actually looking at it right now. It's now in my office. And it really, for me, is a constant reminder of the incredible impact that diverse activities, diverse curriculum, diverse experiences in what we teach can have on our students. It is a testament to the fact that even when we're faced with required texts, difficult texts and concepts, we truly have the power to supplement and enrich by infusing a diverse approach that truly elevates the students' engagement with what they are learning. So it's not just my word and my experience. The research says that there are extraordinary benefits of a culturally responsive approach to teaching, and students who experience an learning environment that fosters culturally responsive approaches, they have higher levels of engagement and they develop more positive attitudes towards school. It truly is a remarkable transformation, right? Where you can see the self-efficacy of students soar, where you can see how they are becoming more in tune with the learning and how they are becoming more active participants in their educational journeys. So today, I would like to invite you to join me as we explore 3 ways that diverse curriculum can impact student engagement. And number 1 is students see themselves reflected in the curriculum. Number 2 is students connect with the materials in a more personal way. And number 3 is students develop thinking skills as they encounter diverse perspectives. So let's jump into number 1, where students see themselves reflected in the curriculum. When students are able to see themselves reflected in what they are learning, something really, really powerful happens. It's like a spark ignites within them. It's that spark of belonging or a spark of validation or just a spark of excitement, right? And in addition to that, engagement, motivation, and academic achievement improves and increases. So how can we make this happen in our classroom? How can we ensure that students see themselves reflected in the curriculum? Here are 2 strategies that I want to call out to you so you can add that little sauce so you can add that magic to your curriculum. Number one is to encourage students to share their personal experiences and perspectives. It's amazing that no matter how young or old our students are, each of them has a story to tell. So why not give them the platform to do so? Why not give them the platform to share their unique journeys, whether it's through writing assignments or presentations or through structured discussions? So let their voices soar, and you can watch as they connect with their classmates, that, you know, as they connect with the text, as they learn how to empathize, and they learn and they grow together. Now, I have seen it firsthand when my students were delving into the Odyssey and sharing their own experiences and interpretations, and being able to weave their personal stories to such an ancient piece of text. So number two is to embrace the power of music and art and cultural expressions, and infuse music, art, cultural expressions, that vibrant blend into your curriculum. Okay, so take your students on a journey through the traditions and the perspectives and different kinds of artistic forms, right? You can explore the sounds and the music and the rhythms that move them, right? You can explore colors that show their brightness. You can tap into the stories that really resonate with them. Because when you're able to connect them with what, you know, with the music, with the art, with the cultural expressions, you're really igniting their creative minds, their creative spirit, and the learning can really and truly be joyful for them. So now that we've talked about students seeing themselves, let's jump into topic number two, which is related to student connections. Students connect with the material in a more personal way, and that's topic number two. So when you see that students are connecting with the material in a more personal way, the learning is more than just words on the page to them. It's like a bridge into their own world, right? In their own experiences and their own understanding. When they're connecting to the learning in a personal way, magic actually happens. They are infused with the passion and the creativity and even the sparks of curiosity that may not have come forth if they didn't have those connections, right? They start to see the world through different lenses and different perspectives. They may develop empathy for others. They gain a deeper understanding of even themselves. So it's kind of like a switch is flipped for them, and their engagement and their retention and their overall learning really skyrockets. So how do you make these connections happen for students? So here are two strategies that I want to share. Number one is sparking discussions that dive into their lives and into their experiences. There is a type of excitement in the classroom when you do give students the opportunity to have these conversations that matter to them, right? You're creating a safe space where they can truly tell their stories and hear the stories and perspectives and challenges of others. And they can explore topics that touch their hearts and ignite their passions and connect to even their journeys. And when you give them that space and that opportunity to kind of weave their own narratives into the learning and the content, no matter how difficult or complex the content is, they are going to become active participants in their learning journey. So strategy number two is to forge connections between the difficult texts or concepts and universal themes, right? For example, love and loyalty in the story between Odysseus and his dog Argos was what helped my students really understand and help to bridge those connections, right? So using those universal themes to form connections can really help your students bridge that gap between the complex text or the abstract concepts, and the universal themes help them to see how it kind of connects and resonates within their lives. So you show them that even the most challenging ideas can truly be explored through the lens of these themes, like I mentioned, like love and friendship and justice and resilience. Those are just some common themes. And you're encouraging them to find the threads that connect their own experiences to the learning, because when they can make those connections, that is when the learning becomes personal and it becomes meaningful and it becomes unforgettable. So again, just like my students were able to kind of unravel those themes of love and loyalty in the Odyssey, that's what you will see begin to happen with your students when you're able to help them forge those connections between the difficult texts and concepts and universal themes. Now that you've heard a bit about connections, let's move on to topic number 3, which relates to those thinking skills. So students will develop thinking skills for sure as they encounter diverse perspectives. So when students encounter these diverse perspectives, they are forced to analyze and evaluate different viewpoints. This is going to lead to the development of their critical thinking skills, which are absolutely essential for success in today's very complex and interconnected world, right? By engaging with diverse perspectives, students learn to approach problems from different angles, and they also become more empathetic, and they become more open-minded, and they're really able to communicate effectively and just care. Okay, so here's what you can do in your classroom to ensure that students have this opportunity to develop their thinking skills by encountering different perspectives. Number 1 is you can dive into case studies that require students to think critically about how different perspectives and values can impact decision making. And through these kinds of, critical analyses that they're doing with these case studies and these thoughtful reflections with the case studies, they're really sharpening their skills. They're honing their skills, and they're making informed decisions and choices that shape them as better learners, but more so better citizens that are able to contribute to their communities, right? And number 2 is you can invite guest speakers from diverse backgrounds to share their experiences and their perspectives. You want to, let the stories and the narratives of those speakers kind of be that bridge that connects students to the different cultures and histories and perspectives and different ways of life. Okay? And I'm just going to throw an extra strategy in there for this one. And it's strategy number 3, and it's to create opportunities for students to collaborate with their peers from diverse backgrounds and perspectives, because they can complete projects together and they can solve problems all around a common goal. And all of that exposes them to different perspectives. And all of that also helps them to develop and hone in their critical thinking skills, or their thinking skills in general. So we can really equip our students with the tools that they need for success. And one way is through exposure to diverse curriculum materials, whether it's texts or activities or assessments or, supplemental resources. Okay. We just discussed the 3 ways that diverse curriculum impacts student engagement, and we also talked about strategies that you could use right away that can help your students to see themselves reflected in the curriculum, connect with the material in a more personal way, and develop the thinking skills as they are encountering diverse perspectives. So as we close, thanks for taking the time to listen and being open to learning more about this topic. We appreciate you being on this journey with us toward equity and excellence in teaching. And as we've discovered together in this conversation, incorporating diverse curriculum materials is really a gateway to unparalleled engagement and triumph in the classroom. So now it's your turn to take action. What is your next step? Will you infuse your lessons with text and activities that mirror the diversity and the supports that your students need? Will you invite guest speakers whose experiences will ignite that spark of curiosity in your students? Will you explore case studies that challenge their critical thinking skills and encourages them to solve problems? So the choice is yours, and the impact will absolutely be immeasurable. So let's empower our students with diverse curriculum.
The next move is on you. So let's put these ideas to work. Take time to implement and time to reflect. And don't forget to join the conversation. I invite you to share your thoughts and progress with our community online at LCT-E Learning. You may even use the hashtag #LearnWithLCT-E. We look forward to engaging with you. Thank you for watching.